Good Job is an RPG Maker game featuring a protagonist trapped in a time loop, living through the same day repeatedly. The monotony of this existence drives the character to seek entertainment in increasingly disturbing ways. Each morning begins in the same bleak, unchanging world, without challenges or variations. The protagonist begins their day by observing a black painting so dark it resembles glass before starting their repetitive routine. This includes entering an office where they must interact with a coworker named Olivia. The protagonist finds Olivia particularly annoying because she repeats the same dialogue every day, unaware they're trapped in a time loop. During their workplace interactions, the protagonist performs meaningless tasks on their computer while observing Olivia. In a previous loop, Olivia accidentally died by slipping and hitting her head on her desk. The protagonist was deeply affected by witnessing her death, feeling helpless as she bled out. Despite anxiety about seeing her corpse the next day, they discovered her alive again, confirming the loop's nature. Since witnessing Olivia's accidental death, killing her has become a daily highlight for the protagonist. They begin exploring different methods of murder, examining various office supplies like scissors, a shelf that could be pushed over, and an umbrella that could be sharpened. The protagonist discovers a deodorant spray in their closet and later finds a lighter in Olivia's drawer. Combining these items, they create a makeshift flamethrower, setting Olivia ablaze and eventually burning down the entire building. In another loop, the protagonist tricks Olivia into searching for non-existent files near a shelf, then pushes the shelf onto her, crushing her to death. This method proves surprisingly easy and effective. The game repeatedly restarts after each death scenario. The protagonist sharpens an umbrella tip and uses it to stab Olivia through the chest, twisting it to ensure a fatal wound. After multiple killings, a mysterious voice addresses the protagonist, mentioning experiments and warning against suicide attempts. Additional murder methods include using scissors to slice Olivia's throat and beating her repeatedly with a wooden board from a package. These violent acts provide temporary entertainment in the endless loop, though the protagonist begins showing signs of psychological distress. The repetitive nature of the time loop and the guilt from repeatedly killing Olivia takes a toll on the protagonist's mental state. When Olivia expresses concern about their well-being, it only provokes anger and resentment, revealing the protagonist's deteriorating emotional condition as they reject any form of compassion or worry. The protagonist expresses deep frustration about being stuck in what they believe is a time loop, feeling empty and hopeless. When Olivia tries to comfort them, they react violently, choking Olivia until she loses consciousness, stating that she won't remember this anyway. The protagonist then loses consciousness. Upon waking up again, something feels different. Olivia appears with marks on her neck from the previous attack, which confuses the protagonist, as this has never happened before. Olivia apologizes for not explaining the situation, revealing she thought the protagonist was the one who couldn't remember due to corrupted code. Olivia explains they aren't in a time loop, but have been in the same place for exactly 528 days. She reveals she cannot die because she's not truly alive. She's an android copy of Olivia Unster, a researcher who sought immortality. The protagonist is shocked by these revelations. When asked about Unster's death, Olivia hesitantly reveals that the protagonist once knew and was romantically involved with the real Olivia Unster. The truth emerges that the protagonist was once human, but was turned into an android by Unster. When something went wrong, the protagonist killed Unster. After Unster's death, her sister continued the research using both androids as test subjects. The protagonist suffered memory loss and mental instability due to the sister's sloppy work. Eventually, the researcher concluded her experiments and left them alone in the facility. the protagonist apologizes to Olivia for repeatedly killing her. Olivia dismisses this concern, stating she doesn't feel pain and exists to be with the protagonist. This attitude disturbs the protagonist, who insists on taking responsibility for their actions, which surprises Olivia. Olivia reveals she's been confined to this place her entire existence and asks if they could travel the world together. The protagonist, feeling guilty, agrees to this request. The story concludes with what appears to be a true ending, where they both find freedom together. In an epilogue scene, they experience snow together. The protagonist realizes they don't feel cold, which reinforces their non-human nature. Despite feeling overwhelmed, they begin discussing practical matters about their future travels, including accessing Unster's assets and avoiding security measures like metal detectors, since they're androids. The protagonist expresses concern for Olivia's well-being after all the harm they inflicted. Olivia reveals that she has a high regeneration rate and none of the attacks actually harmed her. She admits to faking her pain and deaths, initially claiming it was to hide the protagonist's non-human nature. Olivia appears nervous and reluctant to share information with the protagonist, explaining that they didn't react well to something before losing their memories. The protagonist dismisses the importance, stating that Olivia doesn't need to tell them if she doesn't want to. This response earns a small smile from Olivia, who thanks them. Despite this hesitation on one topic, Olivia agrees to answer other questions. The conversation shifts to Olivia Unster, who is a scientist in a privately funded group researching immortality. The protagonist expresses relief about escaping these researchers, but Olivia clarifies they haven't truly escaped. Their recent actions caught the attention of the scientist in charge, who happens to be Olivia Unster's sister, and she'll likely monitor them moving forward. The protagonist wonders if they were placed in an experiment because they had killed Olivia Unster, making her sister despise them. This realization causes emotional discomfort. Olivia mentions that Lydia, presumably the sister, actually adored the protagonist, so her current feelings remain unclear. She advises the protagonist not to worry excessively about it. With some embarrassment, the protagonist asks how they met the original Olivia Unster. This question catches Olivia off guard, and after a pause, she decides not to answer, claiming it would be overwhelming information that the protagonist wouldn't understand yet. When pressed, she indicates she might explain another time. The protagonist decides to drop the questioning. Olivia suggests they stop standing in front of the building and go for their first walk together. She takes the protagonist's hand and leads them away. Looking back at the institute, described as being in the middle of nowhere, the protagonist reflects on having spent considerable time there, considering this their successful exit from that job.